What up? What up? What up? It's Ibn Webb, Ib Webb, Karana Sum here. Official Thanks thing going down here. Man, I'm excited about this one. Hank Moss. I remember going to school in Connecticut here, going to Southern, and again, just being a sports junkie that I am, even back then. I not so much so now, but back then, just trying to know who's who, who's doing what, athletically, male, female, what have you here. Just whether it's looking at stats or going to games or just seeing who's who. And this man, he did it all while he was there, on that basketball court. Later on, and actually just recently, got a chance to just kick it with him on some other stuff too. Maybe we'll get into in regards to what he's doing and just been able to communicate with him. But the little boy in me still had to hold back as far as like, wow, like I'm actually chopping it up with Hank Moss here. So guess the little boy about to come back into me again, because I got him on here. Like I said, he's gracious enough. I chased him down. He probably like, man, let me just get on here. So I'm looking forward to just kicking it with him for a minute. Hold tight.
Okay.
Hank, what's up, man?
What's up, good brother? Finally, huh?
I know. Hopefully, I done wore you down, man. Thank you, man. I appreciate this, man.
No problem, man. No problem at all. Appreciate your patience, man.
Nah. I mean, I just sit tight. I figured basketball season and everything else in between, man. You had a lot going on. How'd you guys do this year?
Oh man, we did all right. We should have done better. We didn't make our league playoffs.
Okay.
We had to suspend one of our better players. And then when we did that, we lost like 3 in a row, and that hurt us for our league playoffs. But he came back, and we made it to the second round of the states.
Okay.
We lost to Crosby. We should have had that game as well, but we just couldn't get over the hump. Like the kids was nervous.
Yeah.
It was a little like shooting wide open jump shots, shooting bricks. You know what I mean? So they was nervous, and then they got up on us. We would come back, cut it to 2, cut it to 4, but we could just never get over that hump to tie it or go take the lead, and they ended up beating us.
You had a good number of kids coming back?
Yeah, we had 3 seniors, and only one of them really played major minutes. The other 2 was just to give dudes some breathers. So we had a young team. We had a freshman starting, a sophomore starting, and 2 juniors.
How's it feel just being on the sideline, on the other side, coaching, man? How's it feel?
Well, I used to coach, I started coaching way before I started reffing.
Okay.
I was coaching before, man, and I think I gave it up probably like around 2005, 2006, because I'll be home like midnight, 1 in the morning, and I'm thinking about something I should have did in the game that I played 3:30 in the afternoon, and so I was like, you know what, it's time for me to walk away from this because I'm carrying it with me too much. So I walked away and I got into officiating. So I started reffing basketball, was turning to reffing football, was turning to reffing lacrosse. So I've been reffing all that time, and then like 3 years ago, the head coach at Stanford High, he got the job, and he asked me to come on the staff and help him. So I said, I figured I'd give it a shot again.
You're not getting up 12, 2, 3 in the morning anymore, are you?
Nah. It happens a little bit. After the game, coaches have a meeting, and we talk. We try to, I try to leave it there. After we have the conversation, it's on to the next day.
Nah. That debrief, especially after a tough game, I mean, I can only imagine just you being a competitor. So I can only imagine the other coaches as well too, just wanting to do whatever, put everybody in the right position to win too. So absolutely. I can only imagine. Absolutely. I'm gonna rewind it back a little bit here. So Connecticut, Stanford, like you're originally from there, everything or from somewhere else?
I was born upstate New York in Syracuse, but I grew up in Stanford all my life. I moved to Stanford when I was like a young kid, like 5 or 6.
Okay.
So I consider Stanford my home, you know what I mean? But I still got ties to Syracuse. I still got family up there. I go visit often, but I consider Stanford my home.
Yeah. How was it for you growing up? I mean, everybody say their childhood was normal. I mean, I don't know what everybody's normal is different. So I mean, how was yours going to activities, sports? I mean, all this stuff.
Yeah, man. It was I would say normal. I lived like a block away from the boys club. So I was involved in the boys club. When you're involved in the boys club, they have you playing everything. They have you playing basketball, football, soccer, wrestling. So, we did it all as kids. We played all kinds of sports and stuff, and I lived in the neighborhood. So, a lot of kids around, a lot of people, you know, back in the days was a little different from what it is now. You know, we had more of the village raising you instead of just your parents. You know, back in the days in your neighborhood, if you do something wrong, it wasn't no problem for another adult or older person to check you and make sure you get right.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, so I you know, I played basketball and all of that with the boys. I loved all the sports, but I took a liking to basketball around the age about probably like 10 or 11.
Okay.
You know, I got a little hang of it and I felt like I was pretty good at it. So, and I just fell in love with it and been involved ever since.
Now, you only child or you have siblings?
Yeah, I have a brother who's he's 11 years younger than me.
Okay.
So yeah, there's a huge difference there. But yeah, pretty much only child, you know, till I was, you know, 11 years old. And even after that, he was still too young to, you know, be involved with me and run around with me.
Now playing, I know you mentioned Boys and Girls Club. Was it the first time you did they have organized leagues there, or did you play outside of there as far as whether it's football, basketball, any other sports organized?
We had leagues within the boys club.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So you a bunch of kids in there, they put you all on teams and then we would play within each other. And then I remember probably around the age of like 12, we a new guy came in to work for the boys club, and then he started having us play against other boys clubs, you know, Greenwich, you know, Norwalk, Bridgeport, or whatever. So, you know, different boys clubs.
And it's interesting you said you live in an interesting spot. You got Stanford, you go one way is Greenwich, you go the other way is Norwalk, Bridgeport there. So I know you probably learned some life skills a little early too, I'm assuming.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And being from Stanford, we was about 20 minutes away from, you know, New York City, the Bronx, you know, and I had family in the Bronx, so it was nothing for me to be out there as well, you know, and get some culture from that area as well.
Yeah. Now, even I know you ultimately you go to Stanford High, but was there anything else in mind? I know you were Trinity's down there, and you mentioned New York. Was somebody trying to pull you to get somewhere else besides Stanford High?
No, actually, man, I didn't start to bloom to the player I became until probably like 10th or 11th, like from 10th grade to 11th grade.
Okay.
Is when I made the transition. Maybe 9th to 10th. You know, 9th grade, I was just pretty much a role player on the team, just out there, you know, because I loved the game, not because I never knew or learned to take the game serious at that young age. So I was just playing to be playing because I love playing the sport. And then pretty much from my 9th grade to my 10th grade year is when I started playing with some other guys. I joined the AAU team. Okay. And then we started playing teams from New York and New Jersey, and the talent was just so much better than ours. And then we had to realize that if you want to be a part of this game, you're going to have to take it serious and get better. And that's when my game started to elevate around those early years, like after the 9th grade, going into the 10th grade.
Now, you mentioned AAU. What was the AAU circuit like here in Connecticut? I'm a Jersey guy, so yeah, I'm sure Road Runners and Newark Rams and all that stuff. So how was it up there?
Well, it was cool. I played for a team out of Norwalk. I don't even remember if we had a name. We got to just call Norwalk, you know. I don't know. Okay. But he was it was a good program because he had us playing against, you know, New York teams, New Jersey teams. I mean, of course, they dominated us because, you know, I was probably one of the tallest guys on the team playing center. And then we go against some dudes from Jersey where they got 6'7", 6'8", 6'9". So, you know, that taught me that I had to level up my game and play a little harder because what I see around my area is not what's going on in the world.
Now, interesting. And then as far as that development, as far as you mentioned developing 10th, 11th grade, did that help a lot?
Oh yeah, it definitely helped a lot because during, you know, it's off season. So you play a lot. We practice 2 or 3 times a week. Then we play these games on the weekend. And of course, anybody involved with the game know that you get better once you play against better competition, you know, and being that we was playing against big guys, like, you know, big 6'8", 6'9" guys, being that I was 6'3", 6'4" at the time, you know, it taught me how to shoot over big guys like that. You know what I mean? And plus coach in practice, he used to have us doing layup drills, but he would have a broom and he'd try to swat your shot. Every time you come in there, he'd try to block it. So it taught you how to get the ball up and over, you know, taller players. And that's what helped me out later in my career.
Now, individually back then, was you working on your game even outside of actually playing and practicing? Were you doing anything individually, or it was
every
just more
now and again? Every now and again, I would, there's a local gym, Yearwood Center, that would be open during the day and be free for, us to go in and work out. But it wasn't nothing like what I learned later on and like what the kids have now. Like, back then I didn't, at least in our area, we didn't have a lot of older guys giving back, coming back, teaching the young guys the game, So whenever you went in the gym, it was pretty much by yourself.
Now, let me ask, high school, did you only just play basketball? Did you play football or?
Only basketball. Okay. I wanted to play football my junior year, and my high school coach was like, no thanks. He's like, you're too valuable to the program. And I never played organized football before. Okay. So he was like, nah, just stick with the basketball.
And team-wise, how are you guys doing in basketball throughout your time at Stanford?
Oh, we had a really good team. Our junior year, we were young, and we had about 4 juniors start. Well, it was 3 of us, 3 juniors starting, and we had a freshman as a point guard, and then we had another senior. So that was pretty much our learning year. We took some bumps and bruises, but we also beat some very good teams that year, and we were preparing ourselves to make a run our senior year.
Because that conference tough, man. What was it like? The Danberries, Anthony Harrison, all of them, right?
Anthony Harris, yeah. So I think he was a freshman when I was a senior. Maybe he was a sophomore. I think he was a freshman though when I was a senior. Norwalk had really good teams. McMahon had good, of course, the Bridgeport team, Central, Bassick. We never played against Hardin, but we played Central and Bassick, and they were always good. The Bridgeport games was always tough.
How's those West Hill games, man?
Battles, man. That's for bragging rights. That's hometown bragging rights. And they actually had a very good team. They won the FCAGs our junior year and our senior year. They beat us our senior year by 1 point, but our junior year they had a stacked team as well, and they had about 4 or 5 returners. So they was good, man. But we would get them at least once during the season or something like that. But when it came to that chip, they always got us.
How's the atmosphere there? Was it packed or was it crazy?
I remember playing them at home our senior year. The gym was ram-packed, and it was over. They said it was over 1,000 people outside trying to get in. Like, so how the gym got the metal doors that go out. They had the metal doors open, but people could just get their head in and look through the doors to watch the game.
And it's cold outside.
And it's middle of the winter. You know what I mean? So those are some great times, man. And be able to play in that kind of atmosphere was definitely a blessing.
Yeah. Remember how you did it those games? I know it was some time ago, but you performed well?
Yeah, you don't forget those games. You don't forget those games. I always perform, you know what I mean? I pride myself on performing. It doesn't have to always be scoring, but I want to do something to help my team win. If it's not scoring, it's going to be assisting, it's going to be rebounding, it's going to be playing defense. It's going to be something to help us win.
Yeah, and even with that said, when it hits you, I mean, again, you might not have said it to yourself, look in the mirror, but kind of if you was to think about it, like I'm kind of nice at this.
I would say probably early my senior year. I always thought I was solid, but a lot of people used to always say to me, yo, you too unselfish. You too unselfish. You got to go for yours more. But I didn't see it that way because the dudes that I played with on my team was my friends. You know what I mean? So they was my friends. So I didn't mind sharing the ball with them. I didn't mind everybody having fun getting their points as long as we got the win. And one of the guys on my team, one of my best friends to this day, Damon Stevens, he just flipped one day and was like, they used to call me Black back then. He's like, yo, Black, man, you gotta take us there. It ain't all of us, it's you. He just put it in me that if you don't do it, we ain't gonna make it. And that's what flipped the switch and turned it all around for me.
Oh yeah, so he put that battery in you, and you just
because we was practicing, and when we play against each other, we would take it a little easy, and then he just flipped one day. It was like, man, we can't take it easy on each other. We got to pressure each other. We got to play hard against each other. That's only gonna make us better. And from that day on, that's when it's just started to elevate. The game just started to elevate for all of us.
Yeah. Now, even playing and even in school, everything else was all right with you here as far as you've been able to, keep a level head. I mean, I know sometimes circumstances outside of school kind of throw us off a little bit here, but for the most part, you was able to stay locked in.
Yeah, man, I was always able to stay focused because, ball is something that I love to do, man. And back then, I couldn't picture my life without it. You know what I mean? Like, we always joke around. There was times where we would cancel dates just so we can just go play some ball.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And have some fun. So, ball was always the main priority. So, it definitely kept me focused on not doing the other things out on the streets.
Did you start having ambitions as far as playing at the college level?
Oh yeah, man. Everybody who played the game at one point think they're going to the league.
Yes.
You know what I
Yes.
mean? That's your dream, you know what I mean? But I started getting some letters my junior year. And I started talking to my high school coach about college. A lot of other people started telling me, you're gonna make it to college, make sure you keep your grades up, you're gonna go play ball at the next level. And that was a goal of mine, just to make sure I can go play at the next level and get 4 years of basketball in and get an education as well.
So how did you ultimately decide did you go to Southern first, or was it a stop before then, or?
Now, Southern, the funny story about Southern. So had a couple schools, about 8, 9 schools trying to get at me about coming to play for them. And the two that I really liked the most was Southern and Sacred Heart.
Okay.
Out of Bridgeport, Fairfield, Bridgeport area. And I liked Sacred Heart because they were a winning program. They would make it to, I think they made it to like the Elite 8 at one time, the Division II, and they were just winners. My coach would take me to see them play, and they were winners. And Southern was trash. They just had a losing record. They was bad, and they just didn't have a good program. So I was leaning towards Sacred Heart. And what made me chose Southern was one day I'm at home, my phone rings, and I answer the phone, and it's the assistant coach at Sacred Heart.
Okay.
And he goes, I forget his name. He goes, "Hi, Hank Moss, please." I'm like speaking. He's like, "Yeah, the assistant coach such and such at Sacred Heart. We're calling to see if you, thought about your decision and what you're going to do." And I said, well, actually, I've narrowed it down to the 2 schools. It's just between you guys and Southern. I haven't figured it out yet. I want to talk to my coach a little more, talk to my mom about it, and see which program I'm going to choose. And he said, "Listen, if you come to Sacred Heart, we're going to beat Southern every time we play them. If you go to Southern, we still going to beat Southern every time we play them."
Oh.
Those are his exact words to me. So I said, "All right, thank you." So as soon as we hung up, I called my high school coach and said, "I want to go to Southern."
Okay.
And he said, "What made you change your mind?" I said, no reason. I just want to go to Southern. And that's what I did. I ended up going to Southern, and we never lost to Sacred Heart while I was there.
You ain't get a chance to tap him on the shoulder at the end of the game to remind him.
Yeah. I never really, because he was an adult, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if he was one of the players, I definitely would have let him know. But because he was an adult, I just, let my play speak for itself. And I remember the head coach, who was Dave Bike back then, he called my house the very next day, and he was apologizing for this guy. He said the guy shouldn't have called me, shouldn't have said those things. But I was like, it's too late now.
Right.
I'm already going. I'm going to Southern. This is what's going to be. And I ended up at Southern.
So you get away from the crib a little bit, up 95. You close enough to still get a meal, but you still got some distance in between to grow up a little bit. How was that transition? Just high school, college? I mean, socially, obviously, basketball wise, it's still an adjustment.
Yeah, it was, it's college is your first chance at some real freedom as a young man. You don't have nobody tell you get up and get out. Nobody's gonna make you get up and do anything. You gotta pretty much do it all on your own. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot, being away from home, meeting new friends, having new experiences, and it's just the whole excitement of being in college is something that I always thought, well, not always thought of, but I thought about it, my later years of high school. And then I had older people telling me about their experiences in college and how great it was and how it changed their lives and things like that. So I really loved it. I loved it right from the jump. Met some cool dudes, became tight with them, first couple of weeks of being up there. They had some good talent. The year I came in, they brought in a whole new program. So it was like, it wasn't like I was coming in to play for that trash program anymore. They just brought in a whole new bunch of guys, and we all clicked well, and we were successful.
Now, was Green with you?
Greenfield, yes, he was. He
Green was with you? Yeah.
His first year coming in was my first year coming in. Kendall Chambers, his first year. Terry Smith, called him BU.
Yeah.
His first year. A lot of those guys, all of our first years together up there. Vonzell Johnson went to Hartford first, but then he transferred in and came to Southern our second year.
Yeah. Now, how'd you do? Or you starting right out the gate, or did you have to? Okay.
I started right out the gate. started all my 4 years playing there. Well, actually, I played like 3.5 years. I got into some off-campus issues my freshman year, and I got sent home for a semester.
Can't always be fighting in the quad, man.
Yeah. Well, this was some off-campus stuff. This was with some New Haven cats. So the people at Southern was like, these some real dudes you messing with right now. These ain't some college dudes. These some street dudes. So they sent me home for a semester, and I was actually.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I was thinking of transferring. I was setting up to go to a school down south, Elon.
North Carolina. Yes.
Yeah, I was transferring. I was thinking of going there. My cousin knew a coach down there. They sent him some film. They was very open for me to come down. But then our coach at Southern, I guess he worked it out with the authorities, and they let me come back.
Okay. Now, how was that? Just having to go back? Now, you had to leave school completely, or?
Yeah, I had to leave campus. I had to go back home and get a job.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It was a little disappointing at first because, you start to think, what I'm going to do now. I don't really want to be home. I got a taste of this college life. I got a taste of this freedom. And I'm going to school every day working towards something, not just getting an everyday job that's not going to land me anywhere. So at first it was a little depressing and all that, but once the talk started coming in about going to Elon, once the coach from Southern started calling me back, letting me know things are looking good, I just figured, all right, I'm just going to work this spring semester. I'll be home working. I'll keep working out on my game, playing, and I'll be back in school in September.
Yeah, because I was gonna say too, I'm sure moms and your brother had plans for your room too. And
yeah, absolutely. My brother was happy though. He was about 5 or 6 then, so he was happy for me to be home. You know what I mean? But my mom was a little disappointed. As that goes with the territory. Because she feels like she didn't want me being up there acting a fool.
Right.
Acting doing things off campus that I shouldn't have been doing. So.
Now that says something, and that says something to you, man, because a lot of people could have just went back to the crib and that'd be it. They get caught back being home and, like you said, working or just doing something, man. And but I'll get back to school at another time. But it sounded like you was focused on getting back to it.
Yeah, the good thing about that, which probably helped me a whole lot of pushing me at getting back, was my core group of friends all were in college.
Okay.
So they all were away. You know what I mean? Like the guys I played, like 2 of the guys I played high school, 3 of the guys I played high school ball with, they were off at college. Another one of my close cousins who used to always be around us, he was off at college. So when I came home, it wasn't like I was just hanging around with the normal crew. So everybody was gone and, they would come back home and visit at times, but it gave me an incentive to get back out there as well, because I didn't want to be home doing nothing while my friends are out pursuing the things we always talked about.
Yeah. So you get back up, you refocus and kind of re-energize probably a little bit, man. How was it different this go around, just with everything?
This go around, I was a lot more focused and I was aware of, the things that's going on around me, how to walk away from the trouble, how to, stay away from the bullshit, and stay focused on what I needed, what I was up there for, not, being out trying to be something I really wasn't.
Nah, because downtown could do that, man. I mean, just being around that, and then like you said, just the elements. I know Southern, we was around the corner from I forget the name of the projects, but the one project is literally around the corner.
Right there. Yeah.
Yeah. So I know the elements, but basketball wise, you said obviously I brought in a whole new crew. Like team wise, how was y'all doing as far as team wise?
Well, part of that, I felt bad about that when I had to go home too, because we had a good team. We was gelling. I only played about 6 games that first year, and we was gelling. We was winning. We won some big games, and then I had to leave. And then, the team didn't do so well. We were still solid, but they didn't do so well. So that was bothering me as well. Yeah. So that's why when I came back, I was focused. I was like, all right, workouts on a regular, no drinking during the season, just get in shape, lose some weight, get the game back together. And we made a run and we ended up losing in the championship game. That's my sophomore year to Bridgeport. We had a real good season that year.
So did that carry over to junior year? Or?
Well, no, because Greenfield was a senior.
Okay.
My sophomore year. Terry Smith was a senior. Wendell Chambers was a senior. Not Wendell, Kendall Chambers was a senior. So most of the guys that, the core group I came in with, they all came from junior college. So they was always 2 years ahead of me. And they were all gone and it was like a whole new crew that he brought in. And, I had to learn. And one thing about that was Greenfield, who's still my friend till today.
Yeah.
I was just with him a couple of days ago.
Okay.
We were all friends.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And as I coach now, I try to tell the young boys, man, y'all got to be cool with each other. Y'all can't just come to practice and then go home. Y'all got to get to know each other, because when you get to know each other, you're going to play hard for each other. You're going to respect each other's game, push each other, and you're going to make each other better. And that's what we had in our friendship. You know, with Kendall, Greenfield, Terry Smith, and all of us, we were also friends off the court. So that helped us out a lot.
Now that camaraderie is real. I mean, like, especially, I mean, whether you're doing good, they're going to big you up. You're doing down, they're going to get on you and try to pick you up at the same time. Now, that camaraderie is definitely real.
Absolutely.
So these guys leave. I mean, so it's pretty much you got the keys.
Yeah, I got the keys now. So it's pretty much my team. The new guys that came in, solid players, you know, can't take nothing away from them, but it just wasn't that same feel.
Okay.
It wasn't that same feel because after practice, they went their way, I went my way. So it wasn't like we were, you know, in the dorms together watching games, in the dorm together talking about the game. So it had a different feel to the team. There was a couple of guys on the team like Glenn Middleton, a dude named Dallas Davis, who I was real cool with. And I became really tight friends with them. Still good friends with Glenn till today. Haven't seen Dallas since we left Southern. But, you know, the feel as a whole team thing was a different feel. You know what I mean? But, you know, loving the game, I still went out there and performed.
That's right. That's right. And even with that being said, I mean, I know in high school you would think about playing collegiately. Did the pros cross your mind, or whether it's NBA, whether it's overseas? Was that starting to think about that a little bit more?
Yeah, well, you know, like I said, everybody thinks they're going to the league, right? Everybody playing thinks they got a shot at the league. And then Terry Smith, who we call BU, he went overseas after he left. And that kind of opened my eyes to a new market. I wasn't thinking about that. So he went over there, and he was, you know, when he came home, he was talking about the success he was having and, you know, how much he enjoyed it. And he thought about living over there, you know. And I was like, okay, that's an option for me. We'll see what happens once, you know, I come to that point in my life, what happens. I didn't think, I was a realist at all times. I was like, all right, I'm here at a D2 school, which doesn't mean anything, but I'm here at a D2 school, and I'm not getting, nobody's know my name. Nobody's, you know, knocking at my door talking about me coming to the league. So it has to be some kind of other options for me. That's when I really started to pursue the overseas thing.
Interesting you bring that up. And then position-wise, because what did they have you playing? What would you call yourself position-wise?
High school, I was a center.
Right.
When I got to Southern, I played the 3 and the 4.
Okay.
And then one season, our point guard got hurt, and then I played the point for a few games.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was versatile in being able to play all positions at 6'4". You know what I mean? I had handle. You know, my jump shot wasn't as tight back then, but I could make the open jump shot. I definitely could always pass the ball, and I could play defense on the dude no matter what his size, whether he was big or small. So, you know, I was able to be an inner piece for all those positions, whether if he needed me at point or the 3 or the 4.
Now, in the off season, what was you doing? Like doing summer leagues, the pro-ams and all that?
Summer leagues, yeah, there was some summer leagues back home in Stanford that I would play in.
Okay.
Really, really good summer leagues. But I used to have knee problems.
Okay.
So I went to the doctor one year just to find out, you know, what's going on with my knees. And he asked me, do you play on cement a lot? And I was like, yeah, during the summer I play on cement. He was like, take one summer off and see what happens. So I took one summer off, and I never had knee problems again. So I've never played on cement since then. Never had knee problems again. You know, he said it comes from, you know, I was a jumper. I was one of those dudes who can jump out the gym. And he was like, just the impact is just too much on your knees coming down on cement. You're a heavy dude. Back then I was probably like 220, you know, 215, 220. And he was like, it's just a lot of weight coming down on your knees all the time. So I stopped playing on cement, and I never had knee problems after that. And then I would play in the summer leagues at home. I would play in the summer league at Hartford every now and then, get with Greenfield. Okay. And then I would also stay at Southern. Like I probably would come back to school early, like around August. Okay. You know what I mean? And I would, you know, go in the gym, get my workout on, hit the track, get my run on, stuff like that, doing my push-ups, staying in shape.
Mm-hmm. Now, how was it for you in regards to, you mentioned the whole overseas, that whole process? How did that work? I mean, did you have to identify agent for yourself? Did somebody find one for you? How did all that go down?
I don't really remember exactly how I found out about it, but I found out about a professional overseas tryout in Pennsylvania. So I sent I think maybe the assistant coach told me about it. I can't remember exactly who told me, but I sent in, the paperwork, sent the money down, and I went down there, and I performed very well. But I had the feeling like they were there to see a particular person, a particular group of guys, because they mixed up the teams, and they had one team was just stacked.
Okay.
It like had all top players, but every other team just had dudes who was just, was trying to get their shot. And we ended up playing against those guys, the really stacked team. And I had a real good game against them, performed well, had a lot of assists and rebounds, and I scored as well. And next thing I know, I'm getting a call about coming to play in Chile. Want to play in Chile. And actually, it was a guy named Alvin Skinner from Stanford. He actually played in Brazil. He played in Chile early in his career, then he went and played in Brazil. And he knew some people, and I guess they heard my name. He talked about me. He was really good friends with my cousins. He played with my cousins when he was in high school. So they called me up and was like, it was so wild because they called me on a Wednesday and was like, you got to be here Monday.
Ooh.
yeah, right. So it was crazy. I remember running around, getting my passport, getting my visa, and my mom just kept asking me, "Are you sure? Do you want to do this?" It's like,
baby going,
baby going to another country. But I was, it was the dream. You know what I mean? It was the dream. So you got to chase the dream. So I took the chance, man. I went out there and I actually loved it.
Okay,
I loved it. It was peaceful. I mean, it was a lot of alone time because at 10 o'clock in the mornings, we would have weightlifting. And then at 1 o'clock, we would have, maybe about 4 o'clock, we would have practice.
Okay.
And they set you up in a hotel. You live in a hotel, room and board free, you eat free, live free in a hotel. And there was only two guys on the team that spoke broken English. So it was tough, at first. But the hotel I stayed in, they had some kind of program going on where they had students from abroad studying in Chile. So the hotel I stayed in had about 5 or 6 other Americans in it.
Okay.
So I was able to converse with them whenever I got back to the hotel. If I saw them in the lobby or, became friends with some of them and went to their rooms in the evening just to talk, be able to speak some English to people. But a lot of it was just some alone time where, I go weightlift, then I go work out, get my jump shot together, go to practice, go to dinner, back in the room at night doing my push-ups and sit-ups and reading, writing letters home. We didn't have internet and all that back then. I had to write a letter home, wait 2-3 weeks to hear back from people.
Now you mentioned even the language barrier and all that, like the coaches, they didn't know English either, or there was always an interpreter or somebody around? Or
actually, yes, when I got to Chile, they had an interpreter with me for like the first month.
Okay.
We had a young kid who had spent some time in America, and he would come around. I would meet him every day at the facility, and he would interpret. But when it came to playing the game, he didn't.
Language of basketball is universal.
Yeah. So he wasn't there for playing the game. He just was there. Like when I would go out to eat, he would come with me. When I go to the laundry, he would come with me. Things like that. But when it came to just playing, it was pretty much understood. And like I said, there was 2 guys who spoke a little bit of broken English, so they were able to point things out and talk about and I could see the game and read the game.
Yes.
So I understood, and we had a real good season there. We had a good season there.
You mentioned the competition level. Was it what you thought of when you got out there, or was it? How was it for you?
It was decent. It wasn't the best. My first year in Chile, it wasn't the best. Every team was awarded 1 foreigner, so they could have someone from any other country but Chile. And we made it to the playoffs. We got bumped in the semifinals. I was a young guy. I was probably about 23, 22, 23. And they had a veteran guy over there who was like about 30. I forget his name, but the brother was nice.
Yeah.
The brother had game, and their team was better than ours, and they knocked us out. They ended up winning the championship. But it was a good experience. The competition was so-so, but my following year, I ended up going to play in Brazil. And that was where the challenge was. There was a lot of competition there.
Yeah. That's like Oscar Schmidt and all these old other guys down there. But just being down there, I mean, again, obviously you got to deal with not only language, the culture, homesick. I mean, the business of basketball. I'm sure you learned a whole lot, just kind of how to trying to navigate all that, even though it's international. It's still a business.
Yeah. So I guess the higher ups in management who negotiate the contracts, one of those dudes spoke really good English.
Okay.
So and it was crazy because I get to the gym and we fresh off the plane. I actually ended up going over there with Greenfield. When they contacted me, they asked me, did I know any other players who were talented enough to come play over there? And and if anybody know John Greenfield from Harvard, they know he's talented. Right. Yeah. So I said, yeah, he's the guy that you want to bring over there with me. And we went over there together. And it's funny because we got off the plane and a 15-hour flight, 16-hour flight, and they took us straight to the gym to play. And I was no good. I was no good. But Greenfield, I mean, I don't know if it was just the tiredness or from the flight or whatever, or the excitement for him, because now he has the opportunity to play overseas, but he shined.
Yeah.
He went crazy. He killed them in that gym. They had high praise for him. They were so excited. And then, the guy who was the manager or whatever, we negotiated the contract right there on the floor, and they told us what we were going to get paid, and it was okay with us, and that's what it was.
Now, how long did you stay out in Brazil as far as playing wise?
We played out there for about 5 or 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah, 5 or 6 month season. Yeah. We ended up losing in the playoffs to a team that ended up winning in championship as well. And I always tell kids this funny story about playing in Brazil competition wise. So we played against the championship team, the team that won it all. They had a guy on their team who used to play for the Mavericks. He had a contract with the Mavericks. They had another guy, I forget who he played for. He might have been at Phoenix or something like that for a couple of years. But they had a big guy. Now, I'm going to tell you, brother, this big guy, he was about 6'8", 6'9", and I mean, he did whatever he wanted. We was double teaming him. Our big men couldn't handle him. He was dunking on us, blocking shots out the gym. He just looked like a superstar. He looked like a superstar. We couldn't do nothing with this dude, right? Fast forward, I come home. I come home 96, early 96. Okay. Fast forward to 96 Olympics is here. USA is playing Brazil. And I see this dude, this big dude. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be a good matchup for Shaq. Shaq destroyed this dude. Made him look like the way he made us look. And that's what made me realize that league is different, man. You think because you play around the way and you dominate around the way, that league is definitely different, talented, and special guys that make it.
Nah. Interesting you say that. While down there, did you still think you might have a shot at the NBA or try to make your way to whatever channel to get there?
Yeah, back then, I always felt like, if I had the opportunity to, play against some of them people, I would be able to perform.
Okay.
You always think that, right? I felt like that. I had the opportunity to play with Charlie Ward in a couple of leagues, and as talented as he was, I still felt like, I could perform.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. If I got a shot on that level, I could perform. But that's the dream. That's the dream inside you, and you want to think that. But I never got that chance, and I'm not bitter about it because I love the career I had and I enjoyed it, and I love where the game is taking me and where it's still bringing me.
Yeah, no doubt. Now, even when you knew it was decided to move on, when did it hit you?
Interesting. It didn't hit me. So when I left to go to Brazil, my lady was pregnant.
Okay.
She was pregnant and she had the baby while I was there. And before we left, we negotiated contracts about coming back and all of that. And my lady and my cousin picked me up from the airport. I get to the car and my baby's in the car. She only like about a month or two old.
Yeah.
As soon as I looked at her, I said, I'm not going back. I knew it right then. I knew it right then. I mean, the money was good, but I just felt like, I got this baby now. I don't want to be spending 8 months out of the year in another country. I mean, I'll be able to help out financially, but I'm a hands-on type of dude. I want to be there for my kids, right? So once I saw her, I was like, I'm not going back. And that was it for me. That was it for the dream for me. I mean, I still would go travel other places and play. And if I could have got that shot at looking at the league, then that would have been different. But I definitely wasn't going to go 15, 16 hours away and, live over there while my family was back here. I definitely wasn't going to do that.
Yeah, nah. They'll do it for you. Kids will do it for you.
Yeah.
Nah, kids will do it for you. Even with that. So what you wound up doing once you decided, hey, I'm not going back. I mean, as far as life goes. I mean, he's a father and trying to figure that whole adult thing out.
Yeah, man, you You learn as you go.
Yes.
The first ones you learn as you go. I mean, I worked and, just took care of my family the best I could. I had my mom there to help. My dad gave me advice as well. So, it was a good experience, man. And I love it. I mean, it changed me as a man. It changed me as a man. It made me grow up a lot faster than I think I was willing to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you ain't really got no choice as far as the kids. Now, how many kids do you have?
Right now, I got 3. So
Okay.
back then, that was 95, 96,
Okay.
she was born. Then when she was 19, I had a son who was now 7, and I
Okay.
have a daughter who's 5. So my
Okay.
daughter was 19, I started all over again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, hey, but she the building block here.
Yeah, definitely.
Like with these two, obviously, them lessons you learned along the way with, and still probably learning, and still probably.
Absolutely. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the best part about being dad?
For me, it's just it's amazing to see you and your kids. Right? You know what I mean? You see them do things and, and like DNA is for real. You know what I mean? They just do things, the facial expressions, the looks, the thought process, all of that stuff is real, man. And all of that was enjoyable for me. You know what I mean? It was just real enjoyable.
Yeah. And then even with playing basketball, I mean, what sticks with you to this day that you've gotten from playing sports?
That's what sticks with me. What?
What sticks with you from playing sports that sticks with you to this day?
Oh man, like hard work, team unity, discipline, and if it lets you know like anything you want to be good at, you got to work at it, man. You can't, I know I see a lot of kids now being that I'm coaching, they think they just supposed to be nice because they woke up today.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And the rites of passage was different back then when I was coming up, because when we was coming up, older dudes was playing that were really good, and you had to wait your turn as a young man to get on the court. You just couldn't go out there and pick your 5. You had to wait until they needed one. And it's like, all right, young blood, you can come play with us. And you might get one shot, and you had to learn. You had to play defense and learn and run. And nowadays, it's just like dudes just go out on the court and think they think they nice without working. So it taught me, that you had to work hard for what you want, man. If you want to be successful, you got to go get it.
Nah, it's interesting you said that. You mentioned talking about high school. You necessarily might not have played, practice, or worked on it one-on-one, but you got to college. You start getting to the gym early, coming back to school early the August months and working on it. Now, probably, I'm sure being away, it sounded like you had a lot of alone time, but you probably had a lot of opportunity to work on your game in them gyms, as far as probably free access to them gyms. Yeah.
Yeah, so our practice was about maybe 2 hours a day. Then that's all you got for the whole day.
Yes.
Right. So our program in Brazil was we had to be downstairs at 10 o'clock a.m. and it was at 10 o'clock a.m. in Brazil. It's like 90 degrees at 10 o'clock in the morning. I love it. I love the heat. So we would go to the weightlifting facility. We would lift for about an hour or two, and sometimes we would jog to the gym, or we would take the van to the gym. Then you got to go get your shots up for about another hour or two. We go have some lunch, then we get a couple hours downtime. You go back to your room, relax or whatever. I would read, sit by the pool and read or catch a nap. And then you go to practice for 2 hours. After practice, you have dinner. And pretty much for the end of the night, you're about 7 o'clock, you're done for the rest of the night. So what me and Greenfield used to do, we used to work out some more. Another 200 push-ups, another 100 sit-ups, whatever it was. And then relax for the night, watch some movies and get ready for the next day.
Nah, it's interesting you say that. You just talk about some of the kids that you coach here that work in between.
Yeah,
that's what do it. That's what get people over the hump. I mean, some people don't realize that.
Yeah, and it's funny because during the pandemic, we would have Zoom meetings. Coach would have Zoom meetings with the players, and I would always say to them, I was like, "Yo, when we come back in the gym, all of y'all should have great handle.
Yes,
because you don't need a basket, you don't need a gym. All you need is outside to go practice your handle. So, I'm going to be able to tell who was working on their handle or not, right? Like you might not be able to get your jump shots up because we can't get in gyms right now, but your handle is something you could definitely work on. So point guards, even big men, work on your handle, but you see, when you get to the gym, you could tell who worked on it and who didn't.
Yeah. Oh, no. This pandemic made people have to show and prove.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, no, most definitely.
Even now, man, we got dudes on the team, they just jack 3-pointers. So one day I stopped them and I said, let me ask you all a question. How many of y'all shoot 100 jump shots a day? One kid raised his hand. And I was like, all of y'all jacking up threes and none of y'all go in and shoot 100 jump shots a day. Shooting 100 jump shots a day would make you a decent shooter. 500 is going to make you good. 1,000 is going to make you Steph Curry. Like dudes think they just going to walk in the gym and be able to shoot. And they asked me, what'd you shoot, coach? I said, once I learned that shooting was important, I was shooting 500 a day. That's what I had to do. I just went out one day and did it by myself. And then ever since then, I seen the confidence rise. I seen the way my jump shot started hitting. It was over for them. I was in the gym getting my shots up. You know what I mean? And people, see me in my later career, know me for a jump shot, but that wasn't what I was about early. I was about dunking on cats. You know what I mean? I just want to get to the butters and dunk on somebody. But once your game has to evolve if you want to be good.
Nah, definitely. It's interesting. Watching obviously the high school game, being on the sidelines there. Are you at ease of how the game is played now? Do you cringe or do you just like, is it evolving? I mean, everyone sees it different.
Yeah, I mean, I cringe more than I'm at ease, right? It's because I don't think the kids have the understanding of the game. They don't have the IQ of the game.
Okay.
Right now, I don't know if that year off from COVID, that year and a half, stopped them from learning or what it is, but I just see kids like, for instance, we do situational drills in practice and we're up 5 with 30 seconds left. Okay. And a kid takes a 3-pointer. And it's like, why are you shooting that? He's like, I'm open, coach. I'm like, but we're up 5 points with 30 seconds. We're in a bonus, just that kind of situational stuff and also like kids will just stand there and watch. They watch us. So many kids are into the James Harden, dribble, watch you get yours type stuff, where they standing there and watching and they just letting the game pass them by because there's so many opportunities when you're moving around and making a team play defense instead of just coming down, jacking one shot as soon as you get over half court.
Nah, interesting. Like I said, I know a lot of people see it that way. Some say it's evolving. So now, and you just seeing it actually going through a season of it again. Like, so now I always like to get people's perspective on that.
Yeah. I mean, you play some teams who are disciplined. You know what I mean? You play some teams who play the game the right way or the way that you try to teach the game. You know what I mean? It's one thing when I say I cringe is because it's one thing to not tell a kid something and he just don't know. But if I'm teaching you this on a daily basis, if you're a junior, you're a junior in my program, there's no way I should be telling you open up on defense, ball you man. Like there's just no way I should have to say that to you in your third year. Right. But steady, I still got to blow the whistle and practice, stop, say, look what you're doing. You got your head, you got your face watching the ball. You don't know where all the offensive guy is. Stuff like that. That's the kind of stuff that makes you cringe. You know what I mean? Like stuff that you're teaching, but they're just not picking up.
You see yourself want to do this to get a head coaching gig eventually, or you just good where you at?
A little bit of both. I'm okay where I'm at right now. I've learned a lot from our head coach. The dude is solid, man. He knows what he's teaching me is I learned from him that he puts a masterful game plan together before we go into games. Okay. And in the past when I coached, I just was like, I don't care what they're doing. I got what I got and we go into battle. But I see the difference in preparing, knowing the other team's weakness, knowing who can't handle, who to pressure at the right time, knowing who can't shoot. And he always got a great game plan. So I'm learning a lot from him. And hopefully, I can learn a little bit more before he departs.
Yeah. Now, even with that said, have y'all lost any kids to like, whether these are parochial schools, prep schools, or have y'all lost? I mean, because I know that's been like the big wave of late too.
Yeah, we haven't so far, but we had a freshman this year starting varsity.
Okay.
And the kid is going to be a star. If he keeps progressing and keeps working, he'll be a star. And he plays football as well. He'll be a star as well in football. And I know some guys at private schools have already asked me, what's up with him? What's he like? What's going on? But our coach has a pretty good relationship with his parents and said they're not gonna let him get away and go to one of those schools because they're gonna have him stay at Stanford High.
And whoever you are, especially these days, they're gonna find you. They know where you at.
Yes, especially with the AAU circuit and all of that. So they'll find you if you got the talent.
Nah, definitely. Nah, Hank, I appreciate this. You got a couple more minutes for me?
Yeah, I'm with you, man. Whatever you need.
I know the game coming on. I'm mindful of that too. So I always like to just say put people on the spot a little bit, have a little fun as on the back end of all of this. So I'm just gonna fire away here. So when you're in the whip, man, you prefer 95 or the Merit?
Merit.
Even at nighttime?
Nighttime Merit, yes.
Oh, so you must got some beats playing when that traffic.
Oh yeah, you know the soundtrack to my life is hard. You know what I'm saying? It's real hard. So but I like all kind of music, man. So you can hear me listening to something one day, and the range could be totally different later on in the day. So, but I like the Merit because it's peaceful. Like in the summertime, it's a lot of greenery.
Yes.
In the fall, it's a lot of foliage. You know what I mean? I don't like winter, period. So, but and it's pretty much it's not a lot of traffic. Normally, not a lot of traffic on it. So you can move up and down the road easily. So yeah, I prefer the Merit.
Yeah. Take you on campus here. Student Center or Con Hall?
Con Hall.
Demery's or Tipton's?
Tipton's all day. That was in Stanford.
I just wanted to make sure where your heart was at.
Yeah. That was our backyard. Like even if we didn't go out that night, we could still go catch the aftermath and have some fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know you're out with TV here. You got Power or Snowfall?
Good question, yo. Good question. I used to say Snowfall. I used to say Snowfall. But I think that's a good question, man. I'm gonna have to say both.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to say both.
Now you ain't playing ball, or you taking a break from the family? I mean, just kind of stepping away, getting some Hank time here. Like, what do you do? What was one of the things you do?
Oh man, I love going to the beach, take a walk. It's a park. I live like about, a block away from a park. I go take a walk in the park, or put my headphones on and zone out, put some music on.
Okay. And the weather, even any time of the year you do that? Or?
Anytime, it don't matter. If it's cold, I bundle up, throw the hat on, the gloves are cold, and take the walk. The beach I love the beach, man. And the beach is like, I would like to live on a beach one day. What I mean? Just love the beach. Yeah.
Stanford High or Southern Connecticut?
Ooh, that's another tough one. I'm going to say Southern because my close friends from Stanford High, I'm still good friends with.
Okay.
And my guys from Southern, I'm still cool with. So, if there was no Southern, I wouldn't be good friends with Greenfield, Brian Miller, Wendell Chambers, all of those Socrates Smalls, all those guys. If it was no Southern, I wouldn't be cool with them. And I was just with Socrates and Greenfield a couple of days ago.
Nah, good stuff, man.
Yeah, so I'll say Southern.
On any level here, best game you ever played in your life?
I'll say high school would probably be against Danbury with Anthony Harris. Had a triple double that game, and we were going into the fourth quarter, and he was killing us. Andy Harris was killing us, and my best friend said, "Man, put Hank on him." Put Hank on. Coach said, "All right, Morris, you got him." I held him to 4 points. He scored 1 basket and 2 foul shots on me. So we got the win. I locked him down in the fourth quarter, and I had a triple double. Southern, I would say my best game would probably be against UB. Had a game against UB. I had about 28 with about 11 assists and like 9 boards, almost another triple double there. Overseas, I had a lot of good games over there. I can't pick a lot of good games over there.
Since people like points here, what's most points you ever scored in a game?
Most points I ever scored in a official game was probably like 32.
Okay.
32. Yeah. So I was one of those dudes who like I had assists as well.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I wasn't always out to get mine on the buckets type. You know what I mean? I give the ball up. If you open, I'm gonna give it to you. You know what I mean? You're ahead of me, I'm gonna give it to you. And plus, I like to give dudes the ball. I try to teach this as well. Like you gotta let dudes touch the ball so they can want to keep playing. If I'm going out here and I'm getting the 30 and the 40 and nobody touching the ball, he ain't gonna keep playing defense for me. If the big man ain't getting the touch, he ain't gonna want to keep rebounding for me. Right. I'm taking all the shots, right? So that's the kind of mentality I always had with the game. Like, let everybody touch the ball, have some fun, man, and you can still get yours no matter what. If you nice.
I know you stopped playing on the playground, but when you was playing, like best playground for you to play a game at?
Probably be Scoutsy Park in Stanford. Speaking of Tipton's, the dude who owned the club Tipton's, he had a summer league there.
Stanford. Oh, Stanford on lock, huh?
Yeah, Stanford on lock, and it was live. I mean, like the games are like Sundays and Sundays and Thursdays or something like that.
Okay.
The Sunday games was always flooded because the park would be full.
Yeah.
You know, people would be out there with their
it's
music.
an event. It's an event.
It's an event. It was a whole event. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you had to show off when you was out there playing on Sundays. Yeah.
Now, what was the name of that league?
Tipton Summer League. It was at Scottsdale Park.
I never knew that. Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, team-wise, best team you ever been on?
Best team I ever been on. I would say the 89 Black Knights, Stanford Black Knights, or the 92 Owls.
Okay.
Yeah, be a toss-up with those two teams. Yeah.
Now, from your era, high school-wise, best high school player you ever seen?
I've ever seen in a high school game. I got a couple, man. Moochie Cobb. His name was Paxton Cobb. And wild story about him, man, is he lived down the hall from me. I'm actually about 4 or 5 years younger than him.
Okay.
So, you know, that's major when you're a young kid. Like right now, that's nothing. But as a kid, that's a lot of years.
Yes.
And I saw him all the time. I just didn't know what kind of basketball star he was. And I always kicked myself because, I mean, I literally lived down the hall from him. Had I known the kind of star he was, I would have been working out with him a lot earlier in my career, you know, learning the game from him, because the man was talented. He could shoot, he could dribble. He was everything, you know, him, Harvey Robinson, Anthony Harris was good. Vonzel Johnson was good. Rodney Spann out of West Hill, Dwayne Daniels out of West Hill. You know, I played against a lot of nice guys. I think the best guy that I probably played against in high school was probably either Terrence Cobb, or Rodney Files. I mean, Rodney Files was smooth. I mean, he was smooth with it. About 6'4", 6'5", had the handle. He ran well. He looked good running. You know, he was one of those dudes, right? But Terrence Cobb was like a man amongst boys. Like we couldn't do nothing with him. You know what I mean? And what's so interesting about him, he got out of high school, he just quit playing ball. He wasn't, you know, he didn't love the game like that.
You know? That happens to some people abruptly. I mean, because everybody else that think he should be doing, only you yourself individually know what time it is and what you want to do with yourself.
Absolutely.
Now, you the best to ever come out of Stanford High?
Arguably. Depends on who you ask. You know what I mean? Depends on who you ask. There's some, I mean, like I said, the dude Moochie, Paxton Cobb, he came out of Stanford High. There was a guy named Chris Johnson who was a senior when I was a sophomore. Silky smooth dude, man. I seen his game elevate like overnight. He was talented. Harvey Robinson, Wade. There was a lot of nice guys, you know, a lot of older guys before me that I didn't know, but I probably will grace the top 5, no matter who you ask.
What's your starting Stanford High 5? You can make them positionless. You don't have to make it 1 through 5, whatever. However you want to do it. It's your 5.
Okay, I'll probably go with Moochie Cobb.
Okay.
Tyrone Powell.
Okay.
Tyrone Powell. Let's see. A lot of the dudes, I'll just go with the dudes I know, because a lot of the names that I hear before my time, I've never seen these, like Clifton Stevens. I've never seen him play. You know what I mean? But he was supposedly one of the good best players that ever come out of Stanford, had a chance at making the league, had a 10-day contract, but I've never seen him play. I see him around Stanford at time to time, but never seen him shoot the ball or anything like that. So I'll go with Moochie Cobb, Tyrone Powell, myself. I'll even go with Earl Gardner. They call him Shine.
Okay.
Who will be my 5th guy? Maybe Chris Evans.
Okay, that's 5. Yeah.
Chris Evans. Yeah, Chris Evans was real tough.
Let me ask. I know you like to bounce a little bit. You remember what's one of the best posters you caught somebody with?
Ooh, I got a whole lot of them. You know, ain't no best.
Ain't nobody, you know, ducking in the grocery store or something when they see you, man. So.
Well, you know, it's funny. Young kids from Norwalk. This guy used to coach at McMahon, Mo. And every time we would come to Norwalk, they would be like, "Yo, we heard you dunked on Mo in high school. We heard you dunked on Mo." And I'd be like, "I don't remember, man. I don't remember dunking on Mo specifically." And, you know, Mo was like, it was one of those situations where he turned to come help, and he got around late.
Now you're a casualty,
Yeah, but I tell dudes, man, I tell the young boys, man, if you ain't been dunked on, you ain't playing hard enough. Like if you ain't, you know, not everybody's gonna get dunked on, but if you're big and you down there and somebody coming to that lane, you gotta challenge him. And if he catch you, he catch you. You know what I'm saying? But you keep playing.
Did you have you had a go-to move?
I like the James Worthy turnaround, little turnaround jump shot. Yeah,
Okay.
that was my move, the James Worthy joint. That's my favorite player ever.
Yeah. Now you are. What about Southern here? You best to come out of Southern?
It's tough to say. It's tough to say I'm better than Greenfield.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I would say arguably. You know what I mean? Depending on who you ask. You know, but Greenfield was tough, man. He was tough, man. He was tough. I mean, he was just a bucket. You know what I mean? And that's a difference in our game. He was just a scorer. You know, I was all around player. It depends on what you're looking for. You know what I mean? If you want somebody to come out there and get buckets, I'm taking Greenfield over Moss any day. Yeah. But if you want an all-around player who's gonna play some D, get you some boards, and get you some assists and some points, then I'm taking Moss over Greenfield.
Yeah. Can I share something with you?
Please.
This is like my little groupie moment. I always like to say. I'm gonna share something about you. Yeah. When you left Southern, was it 94 you left, correct?
94, yeah.
When you left, I mean now when you left, you was fourth in scoring all time when you left.
Mm-hmm.
Rebounds, you was 8th all time.
Mm-hmm.
Assists, as you mentioned, all around game, you was 4th.
Yeah.
Now, and steals, you want to guess where you was at when you left?
Nah, I don't know.
You was 1st.
Really?
This is when you left. I mean,
yeah, it might have changed. That was 30 years ago.
Right. Right. But even with all that, even now, all of that, you're still in the top 20.
Wow.
Like I said, even now you're 12th in scoring, you're 11th in rebounds, you're 7th in assists, and you're still 4th in steals. So that's why I asked. Like I said, I had to dig for a second, but I was just
that's
like,
crazy.
Nah, you talk about. Now let me ask you that question. You best ever come out of Southern?
I'm a humble dude, man. I'm a humble dude. So, you know, it depends on who you're looking for, what you need. Yeah. But yeah, man, I pride myself on playing the game totally all the way around. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, if I can't get buckets tonight, who I got to D, who I got to lock up for the team. You know, if my shot is off, I'm going to dish it up. I'm going to create and I'm going to dish. You know what I mean? Whatever I got to do to help the team win, I was willing to do that.
Yeah.
And that's funny that I was that high on the scoring list, and I played 3 full seasons and 6 games my first season.
Yeah.
Without having a 3-point shot. That's impressive.
Over 1,400 points, man.
Wow, that's beautiful. Yeah.
Let me ask somebody who should have made it. I mean, however you want to define made it.
Somebody who should have made it. Myself.
Yeah.
I would go with myself. I would go with Greenfield again. And I would go with a kid from Stanford named Shine, Earl Gardner.
Okay.
I mean, I seen him play against the best of the best, man. And like I spoke about Charlie Ward being in that league. And I remember one game he was playing against Charlie Ward. It was the year of the NBA lockout. And Charlie Ward was on the Knicks, and he came to play with us, and Shine was going at him. And I'm a competitor, and Charlie was on my team at the time. So I was like, yo, man, what the fuck you gonna do? You gonna, excuse my language.
No, we good.
What you gonna do, man? You gonna play? If you ain't gonna play, sit down. Let somebody else play. And he started playing serious, but Shine was still having his fun on him. So Shine was one of those dudes. And Shine actually, like, once he got out of high school, when he was in high school, he was probably like 6 feet, 6'1" or 2. But now he's probably about 6'3", 6'4" easily. He's one of them dudes who grew later in life. But I always thought he had the talent to make it to the next level. Tyrone Powell as well, out of Stanford. These guys, you know, it's just, I just think that not all of Connecticut and Stanford, we don't get the looks like the big cities do, like Jersey and New York, you know. But, you know, if you want to be seen, if you put up the work, then you could be seen no matter where you're playing at.
You think Connecticut gets its fair shake now? Because it's crazy you say that, because I've been here for some time, and I'm like, man, Connecticut just as nice as everywhere else, man. I don't get it.
Yeah, I think it's just a big city thing, man. You know, they have much more of a pool to pick from. You know, I don't know. I actually can't put my finger on it, but it just feels like, you know, you have to be extra special coming from Connecticut, like, and be able to, you know, make it. Because I remember going, you know, once I, you know, after my first 2 years, like probably my senior year, going into my senior year, playing AAU and going down and having big fun on teams from Jersey, you know, and playing against cats who, you know, made it to the league, like, you know, Artest, dudes from Seton Hall
guys,
Adrian Autry, dudes from you know, played at Syracuse, dudes like that, having fun on them, you know. having fun against their team, not them, specifically, but having fun playing the game against their team. So, but they would get the looks.
Mm-hmm. Nah, interesting you say that. Best part about being Hank Moss?
I would say cool attitude, nonchalant attitude.
Yeah.
Nonchalant attitude.
And I know you've had a lot of moments athletically, non-athletically, family life in general. What's 3 of your best moments of your life so far? I mean, don't have to be the best, but what's 3 of your best?
3 of my best. So I'll say my kids, I'll tie them into one.
Okay.
My 3 kids, one, my nephew and my niece. I would give that 2.
Okay.
And just the camaraderie in my family, man. Like family is very important to me. I was raised that family is very important, and the people that I was cool with and close with as my family as a kid, I'm still very close to them to this day.
Nah, most definitely.
Yeah.
Book on your life, what would you call it?
Book of my life. Wow. Book of my life. A day in the life of Hank Moss.
yeah. Keep it straightforward. Yeah. Absolutely. You feel you got your just due?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm totally comfortable with all that's happened in my career, with my career. Like I said, I gave up the overseas thing. You know what I mean? Like that was a choice that I made. It wasn't that I couldn't perform or I wasn't good enough. I gave that up. And like I said, I'm still involved in the game. When you love the game, it's just about being involved in it.
Yes.
Of course, I wish I could get out there and play. But at 50 years old, my legs is like, nah, we're not doing that right now. You know what I mean? Plus, I do a lot of reffing, so I need my ankles and knees.
Yes, that's right.
You know what I mean? Right. I need them to be healthy. So, but just being involved in the game on a daily basis is good enough for me right now.
Nah, definitely. And speaking of which, as far as this point in your life here, what advice would you get at 17, 18-year-old Hank Moss?
What advice would I give him? A young Hank Moss, I would talk to him more about money.
Okay.
You know what I mean? The importance of saving your money and not living for the moment. I learned that later in life, but you think back, you think about as a kid, all the money you blew hanging out every weekend, ripping and running, going everywhere you want, you know what I mean? And, we as a community don't learn that stuff.
Yes.
As when we're young, we learn it when we get older and we start to take life a little more serious. So yeah, I would definitely have put the jewels in a young Hank Moss mind that, entrepreneurship right now at a young age, get your paper together so that you don't have to work all your life.
Nah, definitely.
You know what I mean?
Well, moms and pops, what they say about you now, man?
Both of them gone. Pops passed February 2014. Mom passed July of 2015. Both of them were super proud of me, when they left, man. They love me. I love them. We had great relationships. And, I couldn't be happier for the parents that I was given.
Nah, most definitely. God bless, man.
Yeah.
What's on deck? What's next for you?
Hey, man, raise these kids. My boy mother, she's 6'1", so I'm 6'4", so hopefully he's become a giant.
Yeah.
He's already big, you know what I mean? He loves the game of hoops.
Okay.
But I'll support him in no matter what he does. So I definitely want him to get into hoops and lacrosse. You know what I mean? There's so many opportunities in the game of lacrosse, but we just we don't play it enough. We don't know nothing about it. A lot of us are starting to pick it up now and start to play it, but it's big opportunities in the game, and it's a game that we can play, and it's based on having a lot of athleticism. You know what I mean? So I definitely want him to play some sports, and whatever he chooses is his decision. But right now he's interested in ball. Like he wants to go to the gym. He wants to play. We got a little hoop on the door, a little Nerf hoop on the door. He want to play on that. So he's definitely interested in the game.
Nah, interesting you say that. Even with lacrosse, I mean, we all know from the Jim Browns to, everything else. Not like lacrosse is a great sport. You can't say it's expensive. Football is expensive.
Yes, it is.
So we can't use that as an excuse. I think it's one of those sports they try, they try to keep away from us. But come on now, you can't do that for so long.
Yeah. And I know down this way, it's really big down in this area, in the Fairfield County area. And a lot of schools are losing their baseball programs to kids going to play lacrosse.
Okay.
Because, as in baseball, you're standing around waiting for some action to come to you.
Right.
But in lacrosse, everywhere is action. There's a lot of running, a lot of interchanging players, and there's just always some action. So a lot of kids are starting to come and play the game.
Nah, interesting you say that. I mean, I was just talking to somebody about baseball. I mean, again, I think it's a great sport, and professionally, obviously, it pays more than pretty much everybody else, guarantee wise. But I think mentally, I think where some of these younger folks are at, man, it's they just that attention is not there as it used to be. You really got to be like dug in as far as with baseball these days to really enjoy it. Because I'm sure you ride back from the crib, fields are empty, nobody playing.
Yeah, I played baseball as well. Like I said, the Boys Club, they had us playing everything.
Yes.
So I remember playing baseball for the Little League program in my neighborhood, and I was a first baseman. And I think I might have missed practice or got to practice late a couple times. So coach put me in the outfield. And man, I was out there playing around, looking, and the only thing that gets your attention is when you hear that clink and you hear that, that ball's coming somewhere. But it just wasn't for me. Like I was active, wanted to run, wanted to move around. So, this wasn't the game for me.
Yeah. Nah. Hank, I wanted to say thank you, man. Like I said, I know I kept poking and getting at you here, man. Like I just remember me being a young boy going to Southern and everything, man, and just seeing you around. They like, that's Hank Moore. He's that dude. He's that guy playing basketball and everything else. Just have an opportunity to watch you, or whether I was on the back end of your last year, and then even I know you hung around and did some intramurals or what have you, just for fun here. I mean, when you had a chance to be home, but I just think I just wanted to thank you, man. Like, the excitement you've given me, I can only imagine everybody else that have seen you a whole many, many more times than I have. And I think even the kids now, we know coaching as a coach, later on, they'll thank you later. They might not thank you now, but they'll see you later on. They'll thank you. But just the person you are, and even have an opportunity to talk to you a little bit here this past season, as far as, with the officiating and all that stuff. I just thank you, man. Like I said, when I heard that you was a ref and Phil was just like, Hank refs and this and that. So I got a little giddy just getting back to little Ibn in me, like, wow, I remember Hank and just the big man.
Hey, man, I appreciate you, man, bearing with me, man, because you've been trying to do this thing since October, man.
Nah, ain't nothing, man.
And it's always been my fault why we couldn't get it together. So I apologize for that. But I'm glad you kept poking at it to make it happen.
No apology needed. This is well worth the wait, Hank. And like I said, thank you for everything, who you are and everything, man. I appreciate sharing your journey, a little bit of your world with me too.
Yeah. Funny thing, man, when I met you, when we finally met at the football stadium, I ain't recognize you. And then as I'm driving away, I said, yo, I remember him. Like the beard, and the age threw me off. I'm sure with you the same with the white beard. I didn't recognize you at first. And I was like, I don't know that brother. And then as I started driving away, I looked back at you one time. I was like, oh yeah, I remember him from Southern now.
Nah, thanks a million, man, for this and just for everything, man. Definitely. And I'll just be in touch to check in just to say what's up, man. Not wanting anything or anything, man. Just to say what's up, man.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you, man. Thank you for having me.
Nah, likewise. You be good, Hank. Talk to you, man.
Yes, brother. Peace.
Peace.
All right.
Yeah, good stuff, brother Hank. And definitely enjoyed just hearing a little bit of his world, his journey, what have you here. So that said, I'm just gonna step away, not even say anything else here. Put my hand over my heart. That means I feel you. Yeah.